Hey friends and family, hey loved ones. Hi, how you guys doing today? So, I've had a lot come up today, this morning, and it's been good. Like, it doesn't feel very good, but it's good. It's good to move through, and it's good to work through, and get to play through, and it's good to see through, and it's good to see into. So, I'm gonna be a little extra real today, and I'm probably gonna say fuck a lot. Just because it needs to be said. Yeah. And that's part of what I get to do in freeing my voice and leaving all that shame instead. Yeah. So I'm letting go of all that, letting go of what I'm not supposed to say or what I'm supposed to say or how I'm supposed to be. Cuz fuck that, I can be whoever I get and need to be. And so I've uncovered some things and discovered some things and recovered some things. I'm doing a little investigation and actually surrendering, letting all of that go, letting the need to know go, letting the need to understand go, letting the need for control go, letting the need to be right go, letting all that go. And so I can be in the fluid flow, in the fluidity of flow. And I got a couple good messages the other day. It's awesome how those messages come up and they come through, and they are like sometimes seemingly for someone else, but I know they're always for me as well. So anything that comes like through me, I always pay attention to because I know it's for me too. Not just for, the other person I'm offering it to, but I know it's for all of us. And I know, it's for both of us. And that's the magic and the gift of it, the giver and the receiver as one. But in my animal spirit oracle deck, pig came up. And I thought that was kind of cute because I had just seen a random sweet little video with a monkey that met a little piglet for the first time, and how freaking cute that was. And so it was like, the monkey mind and pig's intelligence and pig's wisdom. That's kind of awesome because pig can be seen as the opposite, or holding the opposite qualities as well, like the ignorance and like the baser instincts and everything like that. And one of the animals on the wheel of samsara, with the rooster, the snake, and the pig, like representing the three poisons and whatnot. But actually, pig is an awesome ally in a lot of ways, and pigs are intelligent and adaptable and everything. So it was kind of fun to receive that message where it was basically saying, pig is here to help you from analysis paralysis. And so I'm like, oh I need help with that, because I know that state of being all too well, overthinking and trying so hard to figure it all out. And so it was a good reminder just to let go and just to let life hold me and carry me, and I could just float until I was ready to come back and rev it back up again. So it was a nice little break, and I had a fun little weekend, and I got some good rest this weekend. I've been really, really, really tired, and it reminds me of my dream that I had in March 2020, Anger is Medicine, where I was really, really tired. I was just so tired, and I was so done, and I just wanted to go home, and I wanted to rest, and I was just at the end of my rope. And so it's kind of funny how a lot of these things, I shared one of my boards last week about what's your boiling point, and it has a picture of a frayed rope on it, and how bad does it need to be before I say enough is enough? Fuck this. Enough is a fucking enough. That is fucking enough. That's enough is enough is enough is enough. it's enough. It's fucking enough. You know? So, yeah, that's why, like, part of my tired story was like, I'm so fucking tired of this bullshit. I'm so fucking tired of living like this. I'm so fucking tired of doing this. Yeah. I'm not going to do it anymore, you know? Like, that's pretty much, yeah, like what the astrological themes are stirring up. And, yeah, it's just like that shadow work that we get to do. And, like, with a lot of the, yeah, planets that are doing their magical things and their dances, it's kind of super interesting, like, what is going on right now and how it reflects, yeah, what's coming up and in and through our psyches and our unconscious mind, and to be purged or to be integrated or to be illuminated in the light of awareness and, yeah, purified. And so, yeah, it is super interesting time to, yeah, just be alive and pay attention and just enjoy the ride, or allow the ride and be with the ride. Yeah. Even though it doesn't feel very good sometimes. But willing to allow all parts of the ride, all parts of the whole, all parts of this experience, all parts, yeah, of this journey. They're all part of the whole. So I think that's, you know, a lot of what's kind of made it messy for us, is not allowing the whole, the whole entire whole to exist. And, yeah, building up that self-made shadow and then denying that it exists. Which, yeah, that's our choice as well. And that's what the divine feminine holds. She holds that wholeness, even that part of herself that rejects and denies her own wholeness, her own self, and her own soul. And so just like allowing that and allowing her that and allowing myself that, like where I haven't allowed myself, all the parts of myself, like that I didn't accept. And just going through and doing some review the other day, looking at my two previous journals for over, you know, like almost the last 2 months or so, and just like looking at what I've been working on, like acceptance. And there was this poem that I had written, and it was just like kind of accepting the non-acceptance. Yeah. And so, and even if, yeah, there is some of that non-acceptance there, where I know there's certain parts of myself that can accept certain things, I'll just accept that, you know. Accept where I can't accept myself, or accept the parts of myself that can't accept, like, certain things. And, yeah, be in acceptance of that, like, where, yeah. And it's so interesting, too, how that works. Yeah, holding the space for that. And so I started this Medusa sadhana, and that was really cool because a story came in about her, and a download came in about her on the autumn equinox. And that is just really awesome how, like, the dark goddess, how she's, yeah, she keeps emerging and re-emerging in my streams lately. And it is like, just wow, such an amazing, beautiful, like, oh, interplay. And getting to know her and know these hidden aspects of her, and that's why she's dark, you know, because she has been hidden. And bringing her into the light, yeah, for that wholeness, for the integrity of the whole, to honor all parts of the whole that are right to be. Inclusivity through inclusivity. So there's a few things like that I realized what the parts of myself that I reject the most, which it's a little ironic, I guess, but maybe not so. So the parts of myself that I've rejected the most are the ones that reject. So the ones that have rejected, other parts of myself. I've rejected the parts that reject, because it's just weird and so funny how that works out. And I may share a little bit of my writing that I did, but what I really wanted to say and talk about was what I'm really fucking pissed off about. And I didn't realize like how pissed off I was about this until I think it was yesterday when I was watching a recording of a video with the Awakening Women's Institute, and it was Shamele giving her little talk about Medusa and about these things that I've been working with and playing with. And she had said something about how sometimes when women need to speak about different things, or they need to feel certain things, or, we just need someone to hold space for us sometimes so that we can, feel our rage, and we can be with our rage, and we can have that witnessed, and we could have, someone mirror that back to us. Sometimes the ones that try and shush us up or stuff it back up are the women, the ones who are the loudest about us not being that, or not doing that, or not shaking it up, not making waves, not rocking the boat. Are the other women. And that's how we've learned to oppress, and where we've betrayed ourselves in a lot of ways and undermined ourselves. And that was one thing that came up around autumn equinox as well, as I was starting to look at that and question, so where and why do we undermine ourselves and each other, and start to really kind of devalue ourselves and each other, or not even recognize our own value and worth, and also belittle that, or try and chip away at that, or dishonor that, or make it cheap, or make it small, or because we feel so small, or what the hell, and I just remembered all these times, throughout my life, where it was another woman, that told me, no, that didn't happen to you, or your feelings aren't accurate, or maybe you're the problem, or those kinds of things. And it just, I didn't realize, that's why I'm so, I was so, just upset and feeling, so angry at certain, especially women that I consider, my elders, or teachers, or mentors, and or protectors of some kind, because that's what traditionally older women were for younger women, were the protectors. And that wise woman, that medicine woman, that healer, that the one that you could go to, that safe place, would have the remedies, and and not keep feeding you more poison, and and saying it was great and you should keep taking this, because that's good for you, and this is this is what you need, fuck that. So I've experienced a lot of abuse in my life, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, all of that, on every single level. And most of the perpetrators were those in positions of protector. And people who were supposed to love me. The people who were supposed to love me, and those who cared about me. And maybe they did love me and care about me, but yeah, it doesn't make it okay. Like, and they were just passing on what they knew, in certain ways, and imitating or modeling what was modeled for them, and just continuing dysfunctional, normalized behavioral patterns of, oh, this is the way we do things, and this is, yeah, this is the way, yeah, that we were raised and we turned out fine, and things like that. And so it's just like, oh, just all of the bullshit, like how we manipulate ourselves so much, like so that we can like exist and in this like rat race world and whatnot. Everyone's on a schedule and time is money and all of that, like, and you just gotta suck it up. You can't take, the time that you need for yourself, or, if you're an introvert, like, that doesn't matter. Like, you gotta spend, like, this many hours in the classroom with this many people and these many kids and doing, like, stuff that is just totally opposite, really, of which, would have worked best for me anyways. Like, since I know myself in hindsight, like, I would be able to, offer certain insights that maybe other, people wouldn't be aware of or haven't experienced, So, speaking for myself as an introvert and a very highly sensitive person, yeah. But, on top of that, experiencing spiritual abuse from, a church that I grew up in, experiencing mental abuse, from all corners of my world, and it's total mental abuse, and gaslighting and everything, and experiencing emotional abuse, from my mother, from friends, from lovers, and and a husband as well, and experiencing physical abuse and sexual abuse. Yes. So, like, all those things, and it just happening, like, certain abuses, like inappropriate things, and then it turning into worse things, and then finally having, like, some kind of a breakdown where acting out and drinking a lot as a teenager and getting into like a lot of trouble and suicidal attempts and things like that. And then it coming out like, oh yeah, like I'm remembering certain things and about sexual abuse, experiencing sexual abuse, and then talking about that, and then being told to zip it back up because it didn't happen and it couldn't have happened because, the person that, and the people that were being accused or called out for it, oh, they couldn't have done that because of their beliefs or their card-carrying membership in this church, and that makes them, like, not guilty, and no, you're mistaken. That didn't happen to you. Yeah, no, the pain that you're feeling right now, that's not real. Yeah. And those aren't real memories. And, and that kind of bullshit. Like that. And that just, coming from my mom, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And not even willing to, like, listen or validate or, like, consider that, oh, maybe something did happen. Or maybe she's picking up something because she's so empathetic about, like, what happened to a friend and what happened to others or whatnot, because of their stories, out there. And then sensitive, those who are sensitive tend to relate and empathize so deeply, sometimes we feel it as our own experience. And that's true. And I can say that is true, that is very true, that I have, like, empathized so deeply with someone, that I have actually, like, taken on their own, like, experienced their own memory as if it's happened to me. And so it is interesting, like, to be that empathetic. and to feel that it has happened to me, or to feel all the feelings are feeling how they feel about it. And so that hasn't always been easy either. And so there were certain things I needed to do to protect myself so that I could survive here, and accommodate the whims of everyone else. And that's how I learned to people please, and to shove it back up, and to manipulate my own feelings, and then learn how to manipulate others in certain ways unconsciously to get my own needs met, and just playing into certain patterns and strategies, unconscious strategies. And so I did realize, why I was so pissed off, with my sisters and the divine feminine too, and myself. And who I get to forgive. And what brought all this up as well was in this Medusa sadhana, one of the assignments is to create an altar for the voiceless. And so I've been contemplating that the last couple days. Where I haven't had a voice, where I haven't felt heard, where I wasn't acknowledged and invalidated and honored or heard, allowed or believed, and where I was ridiculed and demeaned and made to feel ashamed and made to feel like a fool and made to feel crazy. And I've had different things, different weird paranormal things happen to me in my life. And I had a lot of weird shit happen to me as a teenager too. And so it was super, really painful actually not to have people believe me about what was going on. A couple people took me seriously, and a sister of mine experienced something with me. And so, but even that was debunked by, naysayers and whatnot. Because, that's just mass hysteria. That's the story, and that's the what you believe happened, but it didn't really happen. And it's just the arrogance really is just astounding sometimes when people want to protect their own beliefs, their own comfort zones, or the status quo, or their convenience, or their stability more than they want to protect someone that they love or care about, or the truth, And so that was one of the things that was a thorn, and that was just digging in. And so I realized where some of that's coming from, and that was from past wounds. Not just from this life either. And just so tired of being gaslit, so tired of that. That didn't happen, So that didn't happen to you. No, that isn't true. Your feelings are inaccurate, and you're much too sensitive, and you are confused. You are selfish, and you're a bad kid. You are disgusting, and you are dangerous. You are stubborn, oppositional, defiant, rigid, and you are the problem. You are the one to blame and shame. So fuck that noise. Fuck that noise. Fuck that noise. Fuck all that bullshit. That was bullshit. And I can forgive all of it. But first I'll allow myself to to feel how I feel about it. Damn, I'm so angry at the women of this fallen patriarchy playing into, the abuse and keeping it going. Shutting down or shutting off the feeling function of the psyche because it doesn't feel good. And we must will ourselves or force ourselves to just suck it up, to deal with it or not deal with it, to avoid it at all costs. And so that was one of my strategies, was shutting down the feeling function because it was too much. It was way too much to feel. And that's why, yeah, like there's that story of too much and not enough as well. So allowing myself to feel angry, holy shit, something just clicked and now I'm just getting it. I realize I'm furious at those who tried to shush me up, to shame me, to guilt trip me, to silence me, belittle me, demean me, demonize me, make me the wrong and bad one, blame me, scapegoat me, gaslight me, and betray me, trying to make me the crazy, rigid, selfish, uncaring, rude, overbearing, delusional, paranoid, prejudiced, closed-minded, culty one, the fucking narcissist projections and rejections. Take a good look in the mirror. Take a good look in the mirror. And it looks like I wrote luck. Take a good look in the mirror. Take a good look in the mirror, bitches. It has always been you. All those parts that you can't allow, accept, make room for, acknowledge, and redirect. Yeah, be accountable for. They are all a part of you and your self-made shadow, made unrecognizable through fear, pain, and shame. So I've been rejecting the one who rejects. I've abandoned the one who abandons. I scorn the one who scorns. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Yeah, and that's, yeah. That's the truth of it. And I think it's right for us to feel our anger about what we need to feel angry about. And it's, yeah, that right anger. But it's like, we don't need to keep refueling it and hurting ourselves and burning our insides, you know, by holding on to it. And so, first you gotta acknowledge that it's there and direct it. And so, yeah, I've been feeling this anger all morning, like just kind of just there, welling up and wanting to be expressed and wanting to be heard and wanting to be seen and just wanting to be allowed, like, and then released. So I was kind of feeling a headache coming on earlier, and so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna like explore this and look at this and allow this and not judge myself for it. And yeah, fuck it. If I have to like go on a rant and say some things and just let myself vent it out and let that angry bitch and that angry voice and that scorned one speak, and that's what I get to do. That's what I get to allow myself. And yeah, I get to allow that to be moved through. So yeah, what else wants to be said about that? 'Cause, there's like, you know, no doubt, like, why I've been feeling so frustrated is because, like, yeah, all the abuse that I have, like, experienced in my life, I think I know what it looks like, you know, and yeah, and I have gone through that so that I could help others, you know, and it has taught me, like, a lot of compassion and a lot of empathy. Because we never do know what someone else is going through. We never do. But yeah, that doesn't give us an excuse or a pass to be an asshole to everybody. Like, yeah. And yeah, we can be our own biggest pain in the ass if we want to. Yeah, but it is like hurt people. And they keep perpetuating and continuing that cycle. And so, yeah, it's just like the denial and the rejection, though, is like one of the things that's maybe I haven't moved into full acceptance about, like, yeah. But I know it's to avoid pain. I know what it's for. Like, yeah, I know that we have all sorts of mechanisms and strategies so that we can avoid pain, discomfort, and instability or unpredictability or insecurity, and it's just like overcompensating for different things. So yeah, It's a whole tangled mess, sometimes. So my feelings of self-doubt are related to instinct injury. So it is about instinct injury. Second, third, and fourth guessing myself. And procrastinating, running from poor choices or running from poor choices made in the past. So I was flipping through some old journals and something clicked into place or was illuminated and seen more clearly. I jotted it down in parentheses. It seems like the ego likes to try to grasp, possess, and cling to everything it thinks it knows for security, safety, predictability, and order, avoiding or bypassing unpleasant, uncomfortable, painful, or vulnerable feelings, avoiding confrontation and transformation in favor of false control or self-deceit, convenient stories and comfort zones, the monster that we know, in misery. So while I'm thinking about a poem that I wrote a couple months ago, looking upon angels and seeing demons and that kind of distorted perception or that superimposed, fragmented lens that we've been taught and conditioned to view ourselves and the world with, and beginning to understand or see more deeply into the demon complex and the unconscious defense mechanisms, projections of devil, evil, and ego, beast, monster, and hero, the great unraveling, revealing, unveiling, remembering, awakening, quickening, shifting, reckoning, restructuring. Everything in our reality must adhere to the law of three. What the bleep do we know, and what are we truly seeing? What has been overlooked or hidden in plain sight? What's been distorted, misprojected, inverted, and wiped from memory? Memory and the monster, thought and memory, genetic memory, and power in the blood. Power in the lifeblood of her fertility, her bounty, her heart-womb chalice of plenty, her holy grail. Attention, affection, adoration, admiration, validation, acknowledgement, recognition, notice, love and appreciation, connection and openness, reciprocity, and cooperation. How do I get to offer and create this and cultivate this relationship with my whole self? This living partnership, this living agreement. I am the author, the architect. I am the builder. I am the artist. I am the midwife. I am the child. I am the creator and created. I'll write my own story. I'll write my own story. By choosing to be all I am. So monster and memory, transition and opportunity, recognition, precognition, a catalyst for growth. Pandora's box, the things we try to avoid at all costs, because it stirs the pot and makes waves, rocks the boat, and upsets the apple cart. The head of Medusa, or the image of it, is placed in Athena's warrior's breastplate. Conscious protector, wisdom, intuition, inner knowing, the head and the heart, a Shakti key, the power in the blood, the power to kill, the power to heal, serpent energy, kundalini. Snakes revered as keepers of wisdom and luck, good fortune. Stability practices, receptive, soften, open, flow, allow. Holding space for all we are, I am here, I am held, I am safe, I am full, I am allowed to be all I am. Aware as I am, here I am. Be with me, be with her, be with full life energy, be with all I am, all I feel, all I love, all the fullness that I am. Beautiful, terrible, gorgeous, ugly, and amazing. The veil, the mirror, the initiation, protection, belonging to the wild mother, the wild feminine, untouchable, otherworldly, in transition between the two worlds. The ugly sister that was veiled by choice until we have faces. Maya, the oldest of three, being cursed with being ugly, the polar opposite of Psyche's absolute beauty. Maya was outwardly ugly and beautiful within the depths. Beautiful, she had beautiful depths within. Psyche beautiful all around, within and without, the goddess and her twin. Redival, the other sister, was outwardly beautiful, but ugly within. She was shallow, fickle, cruel, entitled, prideful, jealous, spiteful, cruel-spirited, and envious. The goddess holds it all things and all potential, all possibilities, including even the possibility of rejecting and denying herself, fragmenting and separating herself, splitting apart from her whole, full, true self, and becoming all through the one in many. Kali the destroyer, Athena the fierce warrior of justice, truth, and wisdom, Durga the demon slayer and protector of young innocence, and Medusa the dreaded Gorgon, all have things in common, some obvious and some not so obvious. Wisdom, power, love, destruction, creation, transformation, transmutation, chaos, transfiguration, realization, resurrection, regeneration, purity and protection, liberation, surrender, purification, darkness, illumination, unification. And so, I've been thinking a lot about like certain myths and stories, and obviously Medusa's been one, that's been an interesting one. She's come up in the last couple years for me in different soul collage and storyboards, and different dreams and different things like that, and then visions and downloads. And so now we're doing this sadhana, or sadhana. It's like super interesting, like to get into her mythology and to learn a little bit more about her and the hidden side of her, and like how she was demonized, and the stories, certain stories were changed, obviously, by the culture, and when things changed from a matriarchal society to the patriarchal society, they needed to change the stories, because that is, a big part of our, psychology, is our myths and our stories and our memory, and so a lot of things relate to that. And so, memory's been coming up a lot, and it's so, funny and interesting. And I might go a little more into that. But just remembering different things, of course. And the monster, Medusa, and memory all have, links somehow. Like, the root, they have the same root. So the monster and memory. And so it's been super interesting to, be participating in this group, and continuing my work with the Dark Goddess. And it's been really cool because the veil keeps coming up. So Till We Have Faces, that's a myth retold by C.S. Lewis, and that is about Psyche and Eros, and Psyche and her sisters. And that one has always been huge for me, and so of course it's good for me to look at right now, and maybe see more into than I have before, maybe, about why that myth speaks to me so much. I know that there is definite reflections in that story for me. That holds a lot around wounding and healing, and being split apart and then reconciling and coming back together and unifying. And so it does have a lot to do with how the feminine has betrayed herself, and betrayed her sisters, and with seeds of doubt, and being untrue in different ways. But it is so interesting how this character, this ugly sister, I always so identified with her. I always so felt all the suffering that she that I imagined her to be feeling, all this suffering, and all the suffering that Psyche went through, wandering and weeping and doing her impossible tasks. And because the ugly sister loved her so much, she suffered with her too, you know? And so, like, there's a lot in that, like, for me, so that I can have compassion for those suffering parts of me, and for all those who do suffer, all those who are suffering through their own ways, no matter what it looks like. And sometimes it looks pretty ugly, and it looks pretty messy, and it looks pretty terrible. And that's like the hurt parts of ourselves that we've judged and scorned, and we want to avoid at all costs. Yeah. And so we condemned her to hell. Yeah. And we separated ourselves. And God is somewhere else, you know? And so, like, we're always living in, like, somewhat of idealized version, some fantasy, because right now isn't good enough, or, you know, or it's too much. Yeah. And so, yeah, what myths and stories can we draw on to nourish and feed and transform and heal and whole ourselves once again? And so it's just, yeah, really awesome to have these stories and have them come up in beautiful ways for me. But yeah, the storyteller came up as well, and I haven't read that entry yet in the Sacred Path cards. So yeah, there's a couple more things that I wanted to share. Man, I don't feel as angry anymore. Like, being able to express it and just knowing, like, that it's okay, that okay, I can speak about this and I can express it, and then, yeah, I can allow it to be what it is, and I can let it go, and I can surrender it. So, be more aware of, why I expected so much, or why I was so disappointed, or why I had such resentments with certain people in my family, and certain friends, and certain acquaintances, and other teachers that I thought, I should know better and do better, and because I've expected them to see through certain things. But yeah, that was just because I wanted to be safe and protected and secure, and have that stability and that predictability. I wanted to make sure, certain things were being seen and being heard, and it was just so hard for me, like, to see that they were so blind in so many ways. But it made me ask myself, it helped me ask myself where I could open my eyes and where I was wearing blinders. And because I know we all have our blind spots and our limitations. And so a lot of it was false standards of perfection that I either unconsciously agreed to, or just played into. So initiation, the fool's journey, loss and separation, exile and isolation, despair and desolation, myth, stories, fairy tales as portals and doorways, keys and links, clues, markers, signposts, maps, breadcrumbs, and puzzle pieces. The dream body in fairy tales, And stage number 6 in the Handless Maiden. A needle and 2 threads, weaving back into wholeness all these discarded, dismembered, and exiled parts of ourselves again. Roots cut off, wings cut off, limbs severed. Hidden darkness, hidden pain, vanity, and shame. The pain of abandonment, disallowance, and dishonoring. While Medusa sleeps in her cave, Perseus cuts off her head. He decapitates her. The bronze shield, the mirror, the reflection. The head and the snakes are alive, but disconnected. Neutralized. Pegasus emerges from Medusa's body, the winged serpent. Bronze hands, protection, the sacred spiral, power, records, wisdom, truth, victory, a vision or an image. To embrace, acknowledge, hide, deny, or avoid. Acknowledging and honoring the land, the spirits of the land, the stewards of the land, the keepers of wisdom, the keepers of the flame, the medicine, the laws, codes, myths, keys of the sacred creation and the mystery, memory, felt and shared experiences, the collective, the one and the many. And so, yeah, this last little part that I wrote today about, I just, holy shit, something just clicked, and now I'm getting it just because I was allowing myself just to feel angry, watch and observe and listen and just observe, like not feel like, oh, I shouldn't really be focusing on this or playing into this. It was just like, oh, let's just watch this and see what's happening, because watching certain stories are coming up, then it relates to something that wants to be seen and allowed to be, and then allowed to be freed, like however that gets to be, like surrendered and let go of and freed, or integrated and redirected as a part of my personal power and my creative energy. And so, yeah, the thing about like gaslighting and the guilt tripping and all of that, and trying to turn stuff like right back around on the scapegoat, it's just, that's what I was like so done with, so done with. And now, like, it totally makes more sense now, and now I know it's like there's certain things that weren't personal actually, and it was all about their own security and like trying to reinforce their own beliefs and their own security, their own false image, their own stability, like that false sense of control, and not wanting to confront and face the whole truth. And sometimes we've all been there, and I've been there too, and so that's why I was so angry about that, because I knew I was doing that for a long time. Like, I knew I was doing that, but it was just too scary for me to go inside and look at some things. And I knew I was avoiding it, but I was just so terrified of what I was going to see. So I can have like more compassion and more empathy for those who are avoiding or denying and prolonging the pain. And because I've done that so well, I just did until I couldn't anymore, until I almost lost my life. And so, man, if there ever was a bigger abuser of myself than me, like, I don't know who that is, but like I had, my share of abuse, and I've had my share of plenty of bullshit in my life. I've had good shares of that. So I don't need to go looking for that or choosing that or creating more of that, anymore. So lessons have been learned, and things are easier sometimes for me to sidestep, like, oh no thanks, I don't need that, but it is interesting how sometimes we can fall right back into a trap or a net. Certain times after we've left one, and then we're feeling really good about ourselves, and then we forget to watch, sometimes, and just end up back there until we get it. Yeah, until we become, that expert in seeing, like, those red flags, and we can just say, oh, all right, those are, I'll just, steer clear of those. I don't need to go near those. Like, I know what that is. Yeah, don't need none of that. And so I guess people just need to go through that for themselves sometimes, but it would be nice, like, if we could learn from others' experiences and their offerings and wisdom. And it did make me feel so angry that nobody wanted to open, consider, or listen. They were all so rigid in their righteousness and the ways that they were right, and they couldn't possibly be wrong about anything, or be mistaken, or be misinformed, or any of that. No. So it was just so silly. Like, that, to think that we know, it's just silly. And so I have been doing some good things lately. Excited about, like, for the new moon, I did create some awesome things, and I'm excited. Yeah, and it all has to do with wellness and the plants, and has to do with teas and tinctures, and all sorts of awesome things, like magnesium oil I'm making, and all these fun things for Christmas, and that kind of a thing, like little thank you gifts and all those kinds of good things. So I'm happy and excited about that, and playing in my kitchen and creating different teas and magical potions. So there's a shout out to my inner witch and my inner bitch. So November 7th, new moon, portal in Scorpio. I embrace the mystery and the magic of all the possibilities. I embrace beginner's mind. I embrace the I don't know, wonder, awe, attitude. I embrace my life as it is. I embrace myself as I am. I embrace the world as she is. I embrace this love, all this love as it is. Allowance, humility, gratitude, trust, and full acceptance for the things I can change, for the things that can change. Change is the only constant. Be with what is and be the change. Be the change I want to see. Be with what is and be with me. Be with what is and free it to be. Be with me and free love to be. Be with what is, it's all love for me and we. Be with what is, love is free. We are free, love always. So I've been having different dreams this week, and it's, I've remembered, like, little snippets, just setting that intention. Like, man, I'd like to recall more of those, and not really changing anything yet. But it's funny, just, like, making that intentions. Gosh, I really want to remember and want to recall them, so I've been recalling them more. So it's been easier to get, like, at least, like, some little messages from some shorter dreams that I've remembered, or some little things. And so one dream that I was having, I was discussing something with someone, and we were talking about boundaries and agreements, and I was telling them, no, I won't do that, but here's what I'm willing to do. And it seemed like a lot of mind games and clutter to wade through, since people don't realize their own manipulation strategies or see them at play, or what they've been playing into. But it was interesting, like, where I did hold my center and I was calm, and I was just like, nope, this is just the way that it is. And I'm sorry, I can't do that, but here's what I'm willing to do, and here's what I can do. Or, like, it was just like, it was authentic. And it wasn't like, it didn't have to, like, make anyone else feel bad or make anyone wrong. I didn't have to, like, feel like crap because I was letting someone else down, or feel guilty or feel bad because I wasn't pleasing someone else, or I wasn't doing it for someone else. Like, and it was just like the way that it was, like, here's what I can do, and here's what I'm willing to do, and here's what I can give. you know? But it wasn't like the miser or anything, and it wasn't the martyr. So, yeah, thank you, Badger. Badger medicine. I asked Badger for help today before I got on here. Like, man, just sometimes need help with that. Hostility, aggression, and right anger. Like, with honoring that anger and exacting that motherfucking cure, too. Knowing, like, that it's only me that keeps myself in that boring box. Like, that prison, like, of you can't do that or you can't be that way. Like, why not? Like, yeah, maybe that's a legit part of me, you know? And maybe if I'm not allowing, you know, certain parts to be, it takes away from other parts that could have, like, more strength and fertility. And so, it's, yeah, every other part does affect every other part in the whole. And so, it's like, let's see how. Through inclusivity and receptivity and love and acceptance and humility, how, like, maybe we can shift and change these things within ourselves and not be, like, so divided within our own selves. So be more unified and more at peace within ourselves. And so it just makes me think of fire and water, which, yeah, like the lights behind me, yeah, symbolize nicely the orange and the blue, the fire and water, yeah, the elements right now, like the masculine and the feminine, all of that. So purification, transformation, transmutation, and like unification, like all those things, the Merkaba. So letting go of resentments, regrets, wrongs, and disappointments, the scorekeeper's board, the measuring stick, the pedestal, the corral, the boring brown box, the cage, the prison guard, the nitpicker's rulebook, the detective's magnifying glass, and the hyperactive hamster on the judge's wheel of fortune. The egos need to know to stay ahead, to be in control, to avoid pain, discomfort, or pitfalls, confrontation and uncomfortable attention or potential harm. So sometimes it's me avoiding change, growth, and transformation. The unknown and the unfamiliar. Letting go of being seen as the wrong one or the one to blame, and needing to make others wrong and stay the victim or play at being the victim and the black rebel sheep. I was sad, angered, disappointed with certain friends and family members for not living up to or measuring up to my desires, ideals, wishes, expectations, and my needs. Damn it. They cannot please me and I cannot please them. So where does that leave us? Disconnected, separate, displeased, severed and dismembered, divided and decapitated, without a voice, without a head, without a heart, without a spirit of friendship, or a container for love to grow in. Cut up, cut off, cut away, cut out. A separate stick figure character trying to figure it all out through all the cut out parts. Man, I wanted so badly for a mentor of mine to be my surrogate mother, a teacher, a friend, a parent, a guide, a mentor, a protector, an ally, a companion, a leader, someone to carry, hold, and shine our light. I didn't believe I was worthy or capable. I didn't believe in my light. I was angry with her for not being who I needed her to be for me and we. I was disappointed, disenchanted, and displeased, disillusioned, and yeah, I didn't feel allowed to be. So just, yeah, projecting that too. Not allowing her to be human. Not allowing her, her own folly. And yeah, not believing in myself and expecting her to carry my light. Yeah, and because I didn't believe in my own self. But yeah, it's just interesting, like, just to see that. But also, like, yeah, just expecting certain people to live up to higher standards because I've seen them shining in their higher self, in their in their best self, and I've seen those aspects of their best self. And so that's just kind of interesting that I expect, that when we have such a full range of aspects, like that, I would feel like rigid, like when it came, like I'd have rigid expectations or rigid standards when it came to certain people, like, and so that part, like, of me that was so feeling so angry and hostile towards the closed-minded and the rigid and the unwilling to bend, break, the unwilling to see. They just didn't want to see anything else that could upset their apple cart or their beliefs. Like, because, I mean, gosh, it must be really shaky, Like, but I just don't think that people see themselves and their beliefs separately anymore. They feel like if their beliefs are getting attacked, then they're the ones getting attacked, because they identify so hard with the party, and the party is always right, and the party is always correct, or whatever it is, like that institution that we identify with, like the church is always right, or like this person that tells it like I want to hear it, tells me how I want to hear it. They've got to be right, because that's what I want to hear, like those kinds of certain things. And so we do that to ourselves all the time, and we play tricks on ourselves, and we can't believe our own eyes sometimes, because our own eyes deceive us, because we have self-deceived us. So I don't know. And we just get to be willing to consider, that certain things that we do believe aren't true. And, that's okay. Like, maybe they were true for us at one point, but, sometimes, like, we outgrow certain things. And there's something else that we expand into. And then there's something else that we expand into. And so it's a continual learning and growing and shedding of old skin and of old growth. And it's just silly to think, like that people hold on to like certain things so tightly that, they're willing to even like pay the ultimate price, which is their life, like so that they can be right about it, or they're so convinced that they are right. It's just interesting. So, just some thoughts. And so, why couldn't they all see through their own bullshit survival agendas, fears, projections, and insecurities? Why were they all pretending to know what was the best correct answer or the one right way for everyone to blindly obey? For everyone to voluntarily blindly obey. They were not doing it. They were not doing it my preferred way. LOL. So they were wrong. They were so wrong to be against me. So blind and so far away. I am so tired of the bullshit, the lies and the stories, and the tyrant's cage of fear and violence, a vow of silence to keep me safe, to make false peace, to survive here, to save face and avoid making waves, or bringing or drawing that undesirable or unwanted attention, potential harm. So really not wanting to be seen, but desperately wanting to be seen as worthy of belonging and inclusivity, worthy of receiving love, being seen as right to be, worthy of love, value, care, rightness, and esteem. So it doesn't really matter what they choose to see or they do not see. It doesn't really matter what they see or do not see. I'll focus on what I am seeing and how I'm seeing me and we. It's not up to me to manage how others choose to see, perceive, or receive me and my energy. What they see really has nothing much to do with me personally. It's really all about them and their unconscious programming or their chosen ideals, fears, beliefs, and false identities. Nobody really sees God clearly except God through his clear stillness and her open receptivity. So I understand, and I surrender, and I let go of my ego's need to please, to be pleased, or to be seen in the light of wholeness, fullness, clarity, goodness, rightness, and beauty. I am enough. I am right to be. I am free to be. All I am. All I am. All I am. So be. Just be. Allow and be. Be free. Just as I am. Right here. Love is me. And all this love is free. So, yeah, one thing I was going to go into in stage 4 of the Handless Maiden, there was a little section of the archetypes. And, yeah, some of them were the gardener, and the magician, and the king, and the devil, and the crone, and the mother, and the maiden, and the queen, and the king. Yeah, I wanted to read the devil. And there was something about the rejected parts of ourselves that came in that email today that I got from that Medusa sadhana. The sadhana. And yeah, maybe I might share that. So, this is a practice as you discover that potent questions are waiting for you. One of the obvious ones is, who is Medusa? If Medusa symbolizes the exiled parts, the unwanted, the hidden and hideous, who is Medusa in you? These questions have no right or wrong answer. It is one of those questions that opens doors within you. Bring it with you into your day and dreams. Stay open and curious. Who is Medusa in you? So I just flipped it open to 478 and 479. And that was, yeah, something I read Halloween time about the veil. So the archetype of the devil. In the 4th stage, finding love in the underworld. In this story, the dual nature of the woman's soul, which both badgers and heals her, has been replaced by a single figure, the devil. As we have noted before, this devil figure represents the natural predator of a woman's psyche, a contra naturam, an against nature aspect that opposes the development of psyche and attempts to kill off all soul. It is a force that is split off from its life-giving aspect. It is a force that must be overcome and contained. The devil figure is not the same as another natural source of badgering and baiting that also goes on in the female psyche, the force that I call the alter soul. The alter soul is oppositional and positive. It often shows up in women's dreams and in fairy tales and mythos as a cronish shape-changing figure that magnetizes and harasses the woman into a descent that ideally ends in a reunion with her deepest resources. So here in this underworld orchard awaits the gathering together of those powerful parts of the psyche, both male and female. They form a conjunctio. This word is from alchemy and means a higher transformative union of unlike substances. When these opposites are rubbed together, they result in the activation of certain intrapsychic processes. They act like flint struck against rock in order to make fire. It is through the conjunction and pressure of dissimilar elements inhabiting the same psychic space that soulful energy, insight, and knowing are made. The presence of the sort of conjunctio we have in this story signals an activation of a verdant life-death life cycle. When we see this rare and precious gathering, we know that a spiritual death will take place, that a spiritual marriage is imminent, also that a new life will be born. These factors predict what is to come. Conjunctio is not something one goes out and gets. It is something that occurs because hard work is being done. So here we are in our mud clothes, walking down a road we've never seen, and with the mark of the wild nature glowing through us more and more. It is fair to say that this conjunctio is insisting on a striking revision of the old you. If you are here in the orchard and there are these identifiable psychic aspects with you, there is no turning back. We are going forward. Now, what more about these pears? They are there for those who hunger on their long underworld journey. Several fruits are used traditionally to represent the female womb, most often pears, apples, figs, and peaches, although generally any objects that have outer and inner forms, and at their center a seed that can grow into a living thing. Eggs, for instance, can connote this life within life, quality of the feminine. Here, pears archetypally represent a burst of new life, a seed of new selfhood. In much of myth and fairy tale, the fruit trees are under the dominion of the Great Mother, the old wild mother, and the king and his men are her stewards. The pears in the orchard are numbered, for in this transformative process all things are attended to. It is not a haphazard design. All is recorded and tallied. The old wild mother knows how much she has of these transformative substances. The king comes to count the pears not in jealous ownership, but to discover if anyone new has arrived in the underworld to begin a deep initiation. The soul world always awaits the novice and the wanderer. The pear bending to feed the maiden is like a bell pealing throughout the underworld orchard, calling forth the sources and forces, the king, the mage, the gardener, and presently the old mother. All of these rush forward to greet, sustain, and assist the novitiate. Holy figures throughout the ages assure and reassure us on the transformative open road there is already a place set for us, and to this place by scent, by intuition, we are dragged or spirited by destiny. We all arrive in the king's orchard eventually. It is only right and proper. In this episode, the three masculine attributes of a woman's psyche, the gardener, king, and magician, are the watchers, questioners, and helpers in the underworld journey, where nothing is as it first seems. As the kingly aspect of a woman's underground psyche learns that there has been a change in the order of the orchard, he comes with the mage of the psyche, who can understand matters of the human and spirit worlds, who delves into the distinctions between the psychic this and that in the unconscious. And so they watch as the spirit again drains the moat. As we mentioned before, this moat carries a symbolic meaning similar to that of the Styx, which was a poisonous river on which the souls of the dead were ferried from the land of the living to the land of the dead. It was not poisonous to the dead, but only to the living. Beware, then, the sensation of repose and accomplishment that can seduce humans into feeling that a spiritual deed or completion of a spiritual cycle is a point where one may stop and rest on her laurels forevermore. The moat is a resting place for the dead, a completion at the end of life, but the living woman cannot stay too long near it, else she becomes lethargic in the cycles of soul-making. Through this circular river symbol, the moat, the tale warns us that this water is not just any water, but a certain kind. It is a boundary water, much like the circle of the maiden drew around herself to keep the devil away. When one crosses into or through a circle, one is entering into or passing through to another state of being, another state of awareness, or lack of one. Here, the maiden is passing through the state of unconsciousness reserved for the dead. She is not to drink of this water or wade through it, but rather pass through its dry bed. Because a woman must pass through the land of the dead in a descent, sometimes she becomes confused and thinks she must die forever. But this is not so. The task is to pass through the land of the dead as a living creature, for that is how consciousness is made. So this moat is a very important symbol, and the fact that the spirit in the tale drains it helps us understand what we must do on our own journey. We must not lie down and go to happy sleep over what has been thus far attained in our work. Neither should we jump into the river in a crazy attempt to hasten the process. There is death with a lowercase d, and there is death with a capital D. The one the psyche seeks in this process of life-death-life cycles is la muerte por un instante, death for now,
not la muerta eterna, death for a long time. The magician comes close, but not too close, to the spirit, and the young woman asks... Oh, the magician comes close, but not too close, to the spirit and the young woman. He asks, "Are you of this world or not of this world?" And the maiden, dressed in the unkempt and wild attire of a creatura stripped of ego and accompanied by the glowing white body of a spirit, tells the mage she is in the land of the dead, even though she is one of the living. I was once of the world, and yet I am not of this world. When the king asks the magician, "Is she human or spirit?" the magician answers that she is both human and spirit. The maiden's cryptic reply acknowledges that she belongs to the land of the living and yet is stepping to the life-death-life cadence, and that because of this she is a human being in descent, as well as a shade of her former self. She may live in the topside world days, but the work of transformation occurs in the underworld, and she is able to live in both. And so I think I will end it there. Yeah, with that. There was, some things that were coming up about memory and fire and water, and something that came up about Pisces. And so I was looking at something in mythic astrology about Pisces, and I was, doing a little bit of reading just for a few minutes, really, today. And I actually found something really, really interesting. I've been wanting to look and about more into amber, because I bought like a bunch of amber in the last, it was around, I guess, maybe the equinox, when the gem fair was here. And I'd been nudged to work with amber, and so I flipped open my Signs and Symbols book today, and it flipped open, right to amber. And so I got to read about amber and about, those connections. So I'll probably share that next time. And then stuff with the memory and the art of memory. And, the little entry about Pisces. And that... what that has to do, like, with the astrology that's happening, and like what we're clearing, and what we're transitioning from, what we're transitioning into, between two worlds. So it is, living in both. So that's super interesting as well. And so here's to our voices, and to honoring our voices, and to allowing our voices, and honoring those voices. Those voices that we have to speak our truth, and to speak love, to express ourselves. To reach out to others, to connect with others, to share love, to share the good news, to share what's true. And so I hope you all are well. I wonder, what's coming up for you? Have you noticed anything? What are you aware of? What have you been watching? What have you been witnessing? What have you been playing into and participating with, contributing to? What's coming up and coming through? What's being purged, cleansed, purified, and surrendered to, surrendered and yielded to? What are we choosing? And what do we get to choose? Who do we love? What do we love? And what are we honoring? What are we committed to? All right, love y'all. Hope you're well. Be well. Take good care of yourselves. See you for now.